back here to vote yes for our city school systems August 25th. I guess we got the four horsemen up here this morning because don't nobody know more about the yes vote than these people right here. Jimmy Bryan, home builder for this part of the country. Kenny Winter, another home builder in this part of the country. Dr. Trey Holladay, the Athens City School Superintendent. Didn't get your name. Mayor Ronnie, a regular up here on the program. Getting ready to get started. I guess we'll start with you, Dr. Holladay. Why does Athens need this tax vote?
Well, we're two critical pieces that we're dealing with right now. The first thing that we're dealing with is that our facilities are super aged. We have one building that is a year shy of 70 years old, and parts of it are about 80 years old. Then we have one building that's almost 60 years old. So that is the two critical pieces. That's our middle school and Athens Elementary. And then we are suffering greatly on the fact that we are at capacity at every school in the system except for Calvert Elementary. And we got kids still coming every day.
Now, you just said you've got 400 and something new students based over the last couple of years.
Right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And the worst part of that is the state of Alabama funds us a year in the rear. So whatever students we have this year, we don't get the funding until next year. So that makes us dip into our reserves every time. So we've lost a little right around $1 million in the last 3 years just trying to keep up with the growth of the school system.
All right, now I'm going to talk with Kenny, you and Jimmy in just a second too, but Mayor Marks, we got some time to talk about this morning. From being the mayor of one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Alabama, what is your position on all this?
Well, first of all, let me just state that I support the people's right to vote. And what I want is accurate information to be out there about the school tax vote. It seems to me that there's been information so clouded and the water's been so muddy over several issues, and I think some of it purposeful. However, it is a citizen's right to vote. We had a school board, a city council, and a Republican delegation with both the Senate and the House that allowed us as citizens to go vote. In the past few years, when people from Carpenter Technology and other folks have come to my office, it's very clearly said, and I've said it on the air before, people said, Mayor, I love your community. I love what you have. But my wife and my child went by and we looked at the middle school and we're going to J.R. Clements. I'm a huge supporter of public school system. It has no negative impact on our friend Brother Dusty and the private schools, whether the Bible School or Lindsay Lane Christian Academy. All of this is tremendously important in our community. But it's important to me to see the growth and development when you look at a school system that parts of it are not even handicap accessible. And I know you get into comments like, well, why don't you do 5 meals? Why don't you do 8 meals? Well, we made a really good study on this, and they said complete your whole system. So I support it personally. My wife supports it, and I've been straight up front that if I can't support kids and education and building new schools that are 60 years old, then I don't, I don't have any need to support anything. I am one citizen and one voter. I'm real clear on my stance about this.
I was down there and took some pictures in the place, it's right there across from the Carnival. So I was there last Saturday and took some pictures, and then the principal there, Melanie, sent me some pictures from inside also. So basically, this building is, what's the plan for it, Dr. Holladay?
Well, we try to tie into the city's plan for the future and looking at a green space to serve the Beatty Historical District, and with some discussion with the city, the plan today would be to maybe do some property swap and turn this into the Donnell Historical Park. So parts of the building will be torn down, parts of it will be kept for the auditorium for city use, the gym for recreational use, football field, but the rest of it would just feature the Donnell House and a green space park for that part of the city.
All right, I'm going to come back to a lot of this, and later I want to talk to Jimmy and Kenny here. Now, Kenny, you contacted me about this. You and Jimmy both are big-time home builders in this. How does this vote affect the future building and housing in Athens, Limestone County?
Well, if you just look at Madison City's growth, I went back and did some research, and in 1996 was basically when they started investing a lot of money in Madison school system, and our populations were pretty similar. We were around 19,500. Madison was about 23,000. And today, they've grown 83%. They're up about 43,000 strong in the city limits of Madison. And based on 2014 numbers, we're around 22,000. We're at a 13% growth. So it's a classic example of if you build it, they will come. And all of our other surrounding cities have started, basically following suit. And if you look around, we're one of the few people in the North Alabama area that does not have a new high school. Starting back with Hartselle.
Yeah, they got a nice one.
They got a brand new facility. Decatur City Schools have just passed a deal where they're building a new Austin High School and a new Decatur City School. Muscle Shoals was built in 1999. Florence was totally renovated, and when they joined with Coffee in 2004. Grissom's under construction now. Going to open in fall of 2017. Buckhorn was just redone in 2012 when they got hit by the tornado. J.O. Johnson's getting a new campus. Lee's getting a new campus. So we are at a disadvantage as a community trying to recruit people, good families, into our community when we don't have a school system to educate them.
Now, you have kids going to school here.
I do. I have 2 kids in the system.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy, known you a long time. You're one of the best-known builders in this part of the country. What's your observation of all this that's going on?
Well, my observation is pretty personal. I've got a development on the east side of town, and had people come and look at our houses, and they'd walk in and say, "Boy, I love your house. Beautiful. Did a great job. If it was in Madison, I'd buy it tomorrow." But I'd take the same house that I've built here, and if they buy a lot in Madison, you can add $50,000 to the cost of it, because the lots are exactly double in Madison what they are
Really?
here. Yeah. So I mean, to add a little tax to get people to come back here and say, take a look at Athens. There's a lot of people that like this small town atmosphere, would love to be here, but they can't sacrifice the not having the good schools.
But at the same time, when this is approved, it also you got to pay out more because of all the property
Absolutely.
that you guys own.
Yeah, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do it.
Yeah, we'll pay it on every lot. We'll pay it on every rental house. We'll pay it on every spec house that we can't sell. I mean, it's going to hurt me and him more than anybody.
Now, Kenny, when you called me, the way you explained it, I mean, no one had contacted me and explained to me the way you did. Basically, what you told me is these new people coming out of these big plants, and Ronnie mentioned this the other day, the Carpenters, the Polaris, and all these people, they're going to bypass here and go to Madison unless something's done.
Correct.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a huge influx of jobs coming with Polaris and Remington and all the commercial expansion out there in the Greenbrier area for the years to come. And we have a great opportunity to capitalize on getting those people in the city limits of Athens, but we can't do it with the current facilities that we have. We lose every day. I mean, Jimmy will tell you, just like he just said, they love the house, they love the subdivision, they love the small town, but it's not hard to make a decision when you look at James Clemens versus Athens High School. It's an easy decision when you come to that. And even if they're willing to go into Madison and pay 60 mills, which is my understanding, we're only raising the 52, right?
That's right.
So they're even willing to go into Madison and not only pay $50,000, $60,000 more per lot, but they're willing to pay 8 mills more than what we're willing to raise it to. So that's a deciding factor. The school systems is a major deciding factor on whether people are going to move in and out of your city.
Well, I guess, Ronnie, you would know that better than most folks because you're the ones that show these people around.
Yes.
These people come in.
Yeah.
Do they want to go see a school?
Oh, absolutely. It is. It's one of the primary things that they want to look at when they come to look at your community. Now, and let me just tell you, we are working 5 projects right now that are tremendously important to this community. I think it grows our whole area. I think it grows your business, Jamie. I think it grows our churches. I think it grows our neighborhoods, and it certainly impacts these guys and who you attract to the community. My wife and I do not have a child or a grandchild in the school system, But I do think from where we sit, and I've heard people waffle and I've heard people go back and forth, and I don't know the answers. I don't know whether this is the right approach. I do know it's the approach that's in front of us, and I think it's critical. I think it's one of the most important economic development projects that we've had in front of us since I've been involved in politics.
All right, Dr. Holladay, you've been taking a lot of heat, I guess you could say, recently.
Hey, I was a head football coach 19 years. This is nothing compared to that.
But people, and one of the questions I got earlier this week was, you said if this doesn't come to in effect, that you're going to have to lay off teachers.
That's not what I said.
No, it's not.
That's what I'm going with what the paper said.
I know. And
I'm not saying you were quoted correctly. I'm just going with what I read.
understand. What I said was we were getting accused by some of our critics is that we need to live within our budget. We need to manage our money better. We're misappropriating funds and all these craziness that we talk about. And I was pointing out at that point in time, you tell us all these things, and we got a vice president of $1 billion company that's our board president. We have a professional that works in Huntsville Utilities. We have a retired person who's been on the board for 25 years, a MBA, a CPA, the president of a bank, and a doctor that's a teacher that is probably more critical to make sure we spend the money on kids. And what I'm saying is, you want to argue where we spend money on kids, you think we don't need to have this program, that program, that's an argument. But to tell us that we're mismanaging and stuff, and I was pointing out to them that it equates to 47 teachers is what we're asking for. We couldn't cut 47 teachers if we tried. First of all, the state wouldn't allow us to do it. But that was the point I was trying to make, was that we can cut programs that are helping kids right now, and because our poverty has gone up so much, it's trying to make sure that we don't let anybody slip through. We had 0 dropouts in our school system last year, and it's because of the money we're putting into 0, not a 1.
How is it handling the criticism that you must be taking right now from the other side?
I don't really have time to think about it, to be honest with you, because I'm not really worried about people who are criticizing me. A majority of them do not live within the community. They own property within the community or stores within the community. But this is a 2-year project for us. This is not, the first time that video was shown was on your show.
Right.
We showed it almost 2 years ago, about 18 months ago, and we showed it here, kind of revealed it.
Right.
And so we've had a lot of time and energy and effort studying markets, studying demographics. We just got through talking about the business and industry part. We've got 2 of our major industries with Asahi and with Steelcase, that it's going to cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they are totally on board.
Most people understand that?
I don't know that they do. We've told them, but we've been telling them about this project for 2 years, and they tell us we haven't let anybody.
You took some criticism last week by speaking at, I guess it was an orientation or whatever. And Ronnie was up here last Friday, and the other side was kind of, they were up here talking about something else, but they mentioned that. And Ronnie said, well, it was legal. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
And you took some criticism over that.
Yeah.
But you're passionate about what you believe in.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm about kids. And Athens is where I got my first degree in college, and I spent time here then. These people, the community has been good to me to allow me to come here and be the superintendent. That's an honor for me to be the superintendent here. And so I just want to give back to the community what.
Now, you people just tuning in right now, we're talking about Vote Yes coming up on the 25th. There it is right there for our city school systems. When Kenny called me the other day, Kenny, one of the things you brought up was the influx of new businesses. And Jimmy, you made us about this too. Both y'all probably about the same thinking there. That would come this way that we don't have now.
Correct.
And it would pick up business for a lot of us. Explain a little bit about what you told me on the phone a week ago.